A lot of interesting news has been happening, especially with the Dragon Quest day that was in the middle of the night, and I happened to catch it because Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D Remake, we finally have some information on here, and Square Enix's new initiative when it comes to multi-platform releases. So we're going to go over that and some more big news on Nintendo and games that you're going to be playing on your Nintendo Switch even into 2025. So before we get into all of that, what's good everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my Nintendo Switch and RPG videos first. Now let's go ahead and jump right into this, and that is Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D Remake. We've got official confirmation, no rumors, nothing else like that. Official confirmation from Dragon Quest for Dragon Quest days. To celebrate that, Square Enix has announced that the new Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D Remake will release on officially the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, PC via Steam, and Windows. Now, more information seems to be coming very soon, with the potential trailer as soon as Summer Games Fest or even Nintendo's June Direct. Now, the release date for Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D Remake was not announced, but Square Enix promises, quote, "The Legend of Erdrick draws near." They put this out on Twitter on the official Dragon Quest page. And they also posted a little teaser trailer with the updated logo revealing the platforms and everything. And this is great. Now, I want to first talk about the multi-platform initiative. I talked about this on Twitter, and I had a few people saying, wait a minute, Dragon Quest has always been multi-platform. Dragon Quest 11 was on multiple platforms, but you have to realize it's one thing to have Dragon Quest 11 multi-platform 3 years later on all platforms, and it's a whole separate thing to have it multi-platform right there at launch. You got to remember, Dragon Quest 11 launched on the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo 3DS, 2 years later for the Nintendo Switch, and 3 years later for the Xbox and PlayStation when it comes to the S version of the game. So them saying that it's going to be on all platforms, where you're going to have Xbox Series S and X, you're going to have PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, PC, Steam, and Windows all right then and there. I don't even recall the last time Dragon Quest had that. Like, think about that for a second. Dragon Quest usually doesn't do that. It's usually on maybe one platform or two platforms, or it's exclusive to the Nintendo Switch, like a spin-off Dragon Quest or something like that. So to have a major Dragon Quest remake be on multi-platform, considering how Square Enix did Dragon Quest remakes in the past, pretty much being on Nintendo 3DS, maybe they're on mobile and other platforms, but they were exclusive or on a limited amount of platforms, and now going to all the different platforms here. This is big. This initiative that they talked about with their biggest IPs in terms of profitability, it's already started. You saw that they also had the Steam versions of Kingdom Hearts. Now you're having this right here. They are going to a more multi-platform model where at launch, not 2 years later or 3 years later or some other time or some type of weird thing, or only on two platforms, but to where you're getting it on all the platforms right then and there. We also are seeing it with Visions of Mana. That game is on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, and I'm pretty sure there will be a Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. Whereas if you look at Trials of Mana, the Seiken Densetsu 3 remake, that was only on PlayStation 4, Switch, and I think PC, no Xbox, and still not on Xbox to this point. So I think things have definitely changed for Square Enix in terms of what they want to do, and I'm really hoping and I'm thinking this will work out for them. But Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D Remake, let's talk about this game, because this is one of the best Dragon Quest games. Some people feel that it is the best Dragon Quest game, and we've been waiting years. They announced this game quite some time ago, and we have gotten essentially nothing outside of that first trailer and them saying we're still working on it or things are going. So for them to say The Legend of Erdrick draws near, that's obviously information that's going to be coming soon. Once again, it could be at one of these presentations that are coming up, could be at the June Nintendo Direct, could be at the Summer Games Fest. Heck, it could be at both of them, because this is a big title. Dragon Quest is massive in Japan and gaining even more popularity here in the West. Dragon Quest 11S did gangbusters here in the West on the Switch and PlayStation. So I do do feel that this game is going to be big, especially with the art style, the HD-2D. People love this. Now, I'm not saying it's going to do better than, like, let's say Dragon Quest XI-S, but I still think that it's going to do incredibly well considering the style and type of game that it is. It's a perfect pick up and play. I think people are going to love this on PC and PlayStation and the Nintendo Switch. So I think that Mr. Asano and Square Enix will get that done. But what do you guys think when it comes to Dragon Quest III HD-2D Remake? What are you looking forward to the most? When do you think it's actually going to launch? I'm guessing it's going to be a fall title this year or a late summer fall title, but we'll see what they go with. But we are going to move on to another rumor here, and this one's interesting, coming from Midori, and it looks like a massive anime franchise is coming to the Nintendo Switch. So Midori on Twitter randomly said this: a title related to the Bleach series will be released on Nintendo Switch hardware. Now, she's not saying she's not sure or maybe, she's just saying a title related to the Bleach series will be released on Nintendo Switch hardware. So, I'm not sure if it's going to be multi-platform or what's going on there, but Bleach is pretty much a dead franchise when it comes to video games. There was a surge of Bleach in the more like late 2000s, early 2010s. There were a number of Bleach games that have came out, and they've had some success here or there. So I can't really say like, oh, with all the big 3D games or the PlayStation 3 or some of the exclusives that were maybe only in Asia or Japan, but I can say this: I played two really good Bleach games on Nintendo hardware, and that's Bleach The Blade of Fate that came out in 2007 and Bleach Dark Souls that came out in 2008. And no, it's not a Souls clone, it's just called Bleach Dark Souls. So these two games are essentially Street Fighter clones. They're 2D fighting games where you fight as your favorite characters in the Bleach franchise. You have a story mode, you have an online, or at least I think there was online at the time, maybe there wasn't, but either way, I used to play with my friend when I was in college, and they were really good. You have these different combos you can do, you can link them up to super moves, you have Bankai, you have all the stuff that the Bleach series is known for, and it's done really well. The art style's good, the controls were good on the Nintendo DS. It was a lot of fun to play. Both games were super good and reviewed well too, so I would love for them to remaster these two Bleach games on the Nintendo DS and bring them over to the Switch. I think those would probably be the best playing games. Now, there are other Bleach games, but I played one on the Wii and it was terrible, and we played it as pretty much a meme or joke back then at that point, but it wasn't really a good game. Motion controls didn't even work or anything. There is like a Bleach game on the PS3 that came out, I remember. I'm not exactly sure the name. I'll have it up for you guys. But yeah, there's not really much to pick from in terms of good games, unless I'm missing some Japan exclusive games. But I'm hoping, if this is true, we get Bleach The Blade of Fate and Bleach Dark Souls. Both of those games remastered and put on the Nintendo Switch with online play would be something that I buy instantly and actually play, because I love those games and I used to play them all the time back in the late 2000s. But what do you guys think about a potential new Bleach game on Nintendo Switch hardware? Let me know in the comment section. So moving on to the next topic, this one's really interesting because we just got Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door remake, and that game is incredible. It's reviewed really well, but it looks like Nintendo's not going to stop with the support of the Nintendo Switch, which ties into what I've been talking about, how they're probably going to be supporting the Nintendo Switch 2 in addition to the Nintendo Switch, but the Switch 2 will be getting all of the big new updates, like the big new 3D Mario game, the big Mario Kart, but there will be games that come across both platforms, like let's say a re-release of a GameCube game or a Nintendo 3DS title. They'll probably have enhanced frame rate and better resolution and graphics on the Nintendo Switch 2, while the Nintendo Switch will still get a version of that game, because there is a new rumor from PH Brazil, and if you remember him, he was the same guy who was first to note that the Nintendo Switch 2 has been internally delayed from 2024 to 2025, and then all of the other places like VGC and Eurogamer, who do have credible sources, check with their own, and yes, confirmed that that is correct. So PH Brazil, he is back, and he's stating that there will be two big titles that release for the Nintendo Switch after March 2025. Two big re-releases be it that one of them is from the GameCube and one of them is from the Nintendo 3DS. So this has a twofold thing to it. I'm going to start off first just briefly with Nintendo supporting the Nintendo Switch even after Switch 2 comes out. Nintendo's very bullish on the Switch. It's still selling, it's still doing well, and they still make a ton of money on it. It makes sense that they're probably going to support it with some titles that they can bring over, getting people like Shiver Entertainment for next-gen resources and porting resources as well. And they've also been hiring and doing a lot of that. Now, what it looks like here, PH Brazil says that it's going to be something like the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5, where you will see some support, and that makes complete sense because Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, for example, let's just say that the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out. Why would you not have that game on there as well, in addition to Nintendo Switch 2? So I think it's going to be something like that, and I think that that's the smart move at first, because you're not going to get 100 million people to just jump over to the Nintendo Switch 2 at launch. You're going to have to build up the library and get more and more fans to pick it up as you get big titles on there. So starting out with a big 3D Mario Kart or a big 3D Mario, that's going to be good, but continue to have the software come out and more people will pick it up. And in the meantime, people will still pick up software on the Nintendo Switch when it comes down to it. So here's what I think with the two games, and I think that this is going to be huge for fans out there. This could be very big. I think we could see a F-Zero GX. That's something that I've talked about before recently on the channel. We've talked about the Switch port bags that people have been asking for quite some time. It seems like we're getting a lot of remakes and remasters overall. A lot of this stuff has been rumored. F-Zero has. So I think the GameCube game could be F-Zero GX. I think that it's time to get something from F-Zero. It's been dead essentially since the GameCube days. That's the last time that we got anything from it. I still feel that there is a possibility for a Star Fox Assault remaster as well from GameCube. There are a number of high profile and good GameCube games that are stuck on that system that Nintendo has not brought over that they can really dig into the well with when it comes to supporting the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2 with content to fill in the gaps. So I do think that we could see more of that. So Star Fox Assault or F-Zero GX. There's more games, but I think it might be one of those two, but who knows? Can't say for sure. But I think the Nintendo 3DS game, although there's a lot of titles that are stuck on the Nintendo 3DS, so Nintendo needs to get a 3DS NSO on the Switch 2 or get a 3DS NSO going on both systems. But I think this one could be Kid Icarus Uprising. This is something that people have wanted for quite some time now, and Sakurai himself has stated it and kind of maybe hinted a little bit with that. I don't know, maybe he was just saying it, but man, Kid Icarus Uprising remastered, re-released, remade, whatever the case is on the Nintendo Switch would be absolutely incredible, because that game really only has one fatal flaw, and it's the controls in the game. The controls are just not good. There's no dual analog control for the game. You have to use the face buttons or the stylus. Your hand gets tired all the time. It'd be great to be able to play it in HD graphics and on the TV. So I do think that that could happen. That is a game that people have been wanting. Obviously, Samus Returns, that's a game that people want as well. We did already get Metroid Dread, and we are getting Metroid Prime 4, so Metroid is represented in terms of recently, but we haven't gotten anything for Kid Icarus, and it's a franchise that people still do love. I think it would do really well on the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 if it was to release, because it'd have the dual analog controls, and if they poured over that multiplayer too, that 3-on-3 was pretty good. So those are my picks when it comes down to it. But what do you guys think the game could be? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch and RPG videos right here on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.